Hello, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Ace. I'm glad you could be here. Thanks for being here. I know that there's other things that you could do. Um, but yeah, I appreciate it. I want to give a special shout out to Nerdwitch, who got me to my 10 follower goal. So thank you very much for that. Yeah, I really appreciate it. So let's get into it today. I think today we are we're going to be writing, but not as much as last stream or previous streams, because what I want to do is I want to kind of do more of a deep dive into lore. I was trying to, well, I was mentioning my book to my mom, and she had a lot of questions because she didn't understand, not understand. Once I told her, she understood, but she didn't know what what Fae was or things like that. Which is which is fine. But she didn't know, and I thought, well, if she doesn't know, maybe there are other people that don't know. So we're gonna take a little look at um, Fae, from Celtic, Scottish kind of perspective, and from D&D. So we're going to kind of go into that today. And then I also kind of want to write the ending summary for chapter 3. So we're on chapter 3, and um, I'd like to finish chapter 3 next time, but I've kind of run. I need to figure out how to finish chapter 3. So, um, so that's what we're gonna do today. So let's go ahead and what do I want to do first? I don't think. Let's write in our notes. So last time, let me. Love how settings like change and you're like, what? Vision there. Sorry if I mumble and I'm quiet. I am a naturally quiet person by nature. Um, because like if I can hear it, it's loud enough. I don't ever think about, you know, unless I'm acting like on stage. Like when I took drama, I didn't have a problem with, being quiet, or I was loud enough in drama, or if I'm public speaking, usually I'm very conscious of it, but like just chatting or doing videos, not as much. So I apologize if you have to turn up your volume to hear me because I'm so quiet. The coffee's really good today. Good coffee. Okay. So let's get started. Let's actually start with um, share the screen. Let's start with where we left off last time. So last time, um, Fia, she changed Soren back into his original form. So he was like an old man, and you know, kind of like a kind, old looking man, and you know, he's in Ireland, so he looks Irish too. Um, and she transforms him back into his original form because he was cursed and banished by another archfey. Um, and so now he is a young man, muscular, dark brown hair, tan skin. He's got pointed ears, very dashing looking. He's wearing a purple tunic and brown leather pants. Um, Everyone kind of assumes he's, some type of elf because of the ears, and then he looks like he's in his late 30s. He's actually much, much older, but he looks like, in human terms, late 30s. Hands are dry. I need some lotion, but my lotion that's usually here is not here. What I did with it. So cool. Anyway, so I showed a picture of him last time. He kind of looks a little bit like I think it's Jonathan Bailey from Bridgerton and Jurassic World. He kind of looks like him. Um, Very unintentionally, but that's what he kind of looks like. Um, okay, so he just got changed. Don't want to end the chapter there because I'm trying to make it so that every chapter is at least 4 pages. So we are on page 3, I believe. Yeah, we're on page 3. Almost page 4. We have this to finish for page 3 and then page 4. So I want to write like a little, because I'm not just going to leave it at, oh, he transformed. Cool, the end. I think, I mean, I could, but eh. This is the first time they're actually seeing magic because they've all turned into the creatures that they were cosplaying, but they didn't actually see that because they went through a portal and, you know. So let's finish chapter 4 here. So Soren transforms. The party is a little freaked out, I would say. I mean, they're already kind of freaked out. Um, they put their freak out on pause so they could find Fia, and they have found her, and now they're all kind of a little freaked out, except for Fia. Fia is feeling pretty empowered and like she's at home, because essentially she is back at home. So, party a little freaked out over the magic they just witnessed. They will express and discuss. So they're gonna do that. And then they're gonna probably press Soren for more information. Formation. Press Soren for more information. About the land they are in, what happened, and more of his back story. Because there's a couple people that are a little suspicious of Soren, mainly Robert. Maybe Enya. Would she be? Mostly Robert. He's a little like, I don't know if I trust this dude. So they'll do that, and then Soren will give a lot of exposition. Position. There we go. You can hear the birds chirping. It's a lovely day outside. For a walk later, maybe. I like to go for a walk with the family, but Sundays the hubby has to get up early, so he's usually tired and doesn't want to go or do anything after work. Which, fair-ish. I'm the same way after work, but I work a lot more than he does. Well, I'm sorry. I should clarify. I get paid to work a lot more than he does. He works just as hard at other things. Let's see here. More backstory, give a lot of exposition. And then I think, let me check something. Oh, I don't need to go to that. Should we end the chapter there, or do you think it's going to be... Oh, they're going to ask, that's the thing I wanted, ask how they get home. Okay, so they're going to ask how they get home. And then I think that will take up the rest of the chapter. And then for chapter 4, it's going to be a lot of Feywild description and things like that. So let's save this. Save it. Cool. All right, I'm going to leave it open in case I need to go back to that. But let's... A suspect is in custody after Trump just rushed from... Oh yeah, did everybody hear about that? That there was another assassination attempt on... I don't know if it was the president or somebody at the thing, but... I mean, one, are we surprised? And two, was it real? I'm very disappointed. I've read a lot of the responses of the people that were there. And a lot of them say that it was exhilarating and exciting and they had a blast and blah, blah, blah. And that really upsets me. That they could see a shooting, potential shooting as that. Especially when there are children that are dying in schools and movie theaters and anyway, sorry, freaking news. Yeah, I've never been in a school shooting. I've been in a lot of bomb threats though, like an unusually high amount of bomb threats. When I lived in Texas, I was in one in middle school. I think I was in fifth. We didn't call it middle school. We called it intermediate school because we went to like 4 different schools in Texas. There was like elementary school, intermediate school, junior high, and high school. And so I was like in 5th or 6th grade when that bomb threat happened. I got interviewed for the news for that. They didn't air me though, which that's fine. But I think I knew the kid that had made the threat, so I didn't take it very seriously. And then on 9/11, when I was in high school, a middle school kid called in a bomb threat on that day because it wasn't, as stressful enough. Um, Called in a bomb threat that day, and so we had to evacuate, and that was in Idaho. So, and then when I had just graduated from high school and got called to jury duty and got picked for jury duty, there was a bomb threat at the courthouse. Um, so I don't think I've been in another bomb threat since then. So it's been a while, right? I feel like I might be forgetting one. Um, but it's a lot. It's a lot of bomb threats that I've been in. I don't know. I don't know. Um, but anyway, let's get into our tray. So, what's up with Archfey? Okay, so they've got I'm gonna open this in a new tab. We're gonna open this in a new tab. Is Santa Claus an Archfey? Ooh, we could get down like some weird rabbit holes here. I think Santa Claus is an Archfey, and I have my reasons. Um, how does a Fey become an Archfey? It's just power. Um, how to play an Archfey in D&D. That one I might read later. I think it would be really fun to play an Archfey in D&D. Critical Role. And then, so I have okay, so we got D&D stuff popping up here. So Archfey, Irish Legends of Fey, or just Fey creatures. Because I think it's good to look at it from the perspective of history and from D&D. The Irish road trip. We'll try this one. We'll try this one. This Ghost Adventures. It's this one. Check out those beautiful bibs. Can you identify them? I'm gonna say probably that's the Lady of the Lake. That looks like a wraith. Vampire. Another vampire? I like this one here. Looking good. Anyway. Let's see. I'm in all shapes and sizes. Damn. Sorry, my upstairs neighbor is always dropping things. And Banshee, that's what it is, a Banshee. Always dropping things. They're so loud. Okay, the Banshee. So these, I'm gonna try. I mean, I could read all of this, but I'm not. The Puka, he's so cute. Brings good and bad, so it's a shape shifter. The Irish vampire. I'm loving this art. I want to know who did the art. The scariest. Fairies. Fairies are central figures divided into two groups, the Seelie and the Unseelie. kind of like a vampire, werewolves. It's like a dragon-like monsters. Oh, so like what's his name? The Loch Ness monster. Leprechauns. Vananock. Mermaids. The Mucky. Oh, maybe that's the Loch Ness. Yeah, that's the Loch Ness monster there. Baylor of the Evil Eye. Fearsome leader of the Formians. I love the Irish language. It just sounds pretty to me. So these guys, this website has some things. What's the Fairy Queen? I'm mentioning fairies and can't mention fairies. Ruler of all fairies, the Fairy Queen is one of the most famous Celtic creatures. The name Titania or Mob. She is often described as both seductive and beautiful. I wish they had more detail. Man of Hunger offers fortunes to those. He's a strange one. A green cow. A magical cow with green spots that could produce endless supplies of milk for its owner. People of the Mound. I said 30. Abel. Abel is one of the number of Irish mythology creatures that uses magic to defeat enemies. A guardian of Dalcass, an Irish clan. Abel is the fairy mound of Thomond. She lives and played a magical harp. It is believed that whoever listened to her play would die rather sooner than later. Is that because she sucks at the harp or because it's enchanted? Because, I mean, I could see that going either way. Said to be a hag for the creation of, she said, depends on the weather. The Queen of Winter. Controls the weather and the winds. See, that is kind of like a superpower I would want. My ultimate superpower that I would want is the ability to read minds because I suck at human interaction. But I think controlling the weather would be pretty cool, especially wind. Wind would be my jam, man. I mean, why would you want to fly? Like, a lot of people are like, oh, I'd want to fly. Like, you can get in a freaking airplane and fly. You can parachute. You can do all sorts of things that is like flying. Besides, like, if you could fly, like, you'd be running into like bugs and birds and get cold because it's high up. Like, no, thank you. A hound of wondrous might and mystic gift. The coat of colors that shimmered like starlight and fire. Ooh. I like the description of this hound. I like dogs. Give me all the dogs. Bodak. Plays tricks on children. Describes the fairy as a beautiful woman. Was known to spark up relationships with humans. Okay, so not as helpful as I was hoping, but that's okay. It's all right. Um, oh, this is like the fair. I told a coworker the other day that I'm kind of at the point where I would love to go to Ireland to purposely find a fairy circle and just see if they could take me to the Feywild. I'd be for that. I would be for that because it sucks here, man. Not all the time, but a good portion of the time. Hollywood adorable fairies. People think of adorable fairies because I personally, when I think of fairies, think of Tinkerbell, and she was mean. Um, she used their innate magic to become she. Where to find Irish fairies? Entrances to other world of the fairies are everywhere. Caves, tombs, burrows, forts, even tree hollows and roots. Oh my gosh, this is telling me where the fairy portals are. Sold. Oh my god, is that Susan the sheep? Susan. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just go look up VLDL, Viva La Dirt League, and you'll find it. Okay, so some places are visible only once every 7 years. The Green Isle, a fairy island that sits off the Causeway coast of Rathlin Island. Fairy. Fairy forts are essentially the remains of Iron Age, early medieval ring forts, which thousands remained in Ireland. Today, farmers and landowners often plow and mow them to avoid incurring the wrath of the little people. They also avoid disturbing Neolithic tombs, stone circles, and standing stones, all thought to be connected to the fairy world. In fact, in 1999, a new motorway was rerouted to save a fairy tree. Huh, that's kind of cool. I recently found out too that I mean, I knew that I was Irish because my grandpa has always been like Irish. Um, but apparently not as Irish as we thought. So like, that like ancestry.com stuff you can take. Um, my dad and my mom took it, and then I took it, and my dad had a 80 bit amount. Like it's really low. I mean, he still has it, and his last name is Irish. Um, but it was really low. And then my mom had some too. I think she had more than my dad, so I have more compared to my dad. Which, but yeah, I'm mostly English, Irish. Did it say else? Like no, I'd be curious. Now I'd be curious and want to find a picture that I took of it. Do. So I'm gonna scroll and find it. Where could it be now? Be now. Man, I really gotta go back to find that. Dang. When did I take this picture? When did I do this? I feel like time is just. Oh, there it is. I took it back in September. Um. Oh, in German. German. So I'm mostly England and Northwestern Europe, German, Wales, Sweden, Ireland, and then Ashkenazi Jew. 1%. So I didn't know that about me. Some Jewish blood in there. Um, so yeah, those are my regions that I'm from. Yeah, Ireland, it says 4%, which I think my dad was like 1%. I'm like, well, I must get the other 3% from my mom then, because she's also Irish. Um, yeah, interesting stuff. I think trying to find like your family history and going back, like I've gone back quite a bit to see like who was the first people to come over and stuff. And I think I got pretty far back on my mom's side, I want to say, and my dad's. I got pretty far back to like 18 something. No, even before that, because I found an ancestor before America was even America. So I want to say that's my mom's side of the family. I found that they had settled in from Germany, I want to say. So, well, it wasn't called Germany back then. It was I can't remember, but start with a B. I want to say Bavaria. I think that's it. Anyway, um, see, in many tales, the fairies live much the same way the Irish do: farm, work, and partay. Specific methods were employed to keep the fairies at bay: garlands of marigolds and primroses at your door, the wood of the ash, rowan, and blackthorn, or a bag of clover on your neck. A bag of clover around your neck were means of self protection from fairies. Another way was to turn your coat inside out when passing a fairy. They also aren't fond of iron, salt, or bread, which is funny because like fairy bread's a thing in like Australia and New Zealand, but apparently they don't like bread. I'm gonna write that down. Actually, I could use that in my story. Notes. What notes are these? Oh, these are notes from my one shot that I'm doing in May. Um, okay. Find a pen. Got the pen. I like writing things down. Typing's fine, but typing also reminds me of homework in school. Um, so I like writing things down. So Irish lore. So let's see here. Don't like. I know they don't like iron, or I knew that they didn't like iron, and I think salt too. Didn't know about the bread though, and then I didn't know any of the other methods for protecting yourself. Um, we'll of course research to make sure that that is consistent and not just this website. So garlands. I understand the marigolds because marigolds kind of smell. Anybody else? I mean, they're pretty, but they smell. And a primrose. Primroses smell good. Wood of the ash, rowan, and black, not back. And then a bag of clovers. I think I knew about actually the bag of clovers. Um, There are countless. There are accounts of humans being stolen away, either in body or mind. In versions of the tale, their loved ones attempt to rescue them. Usually, this is with the help of a wise woman with experience of the fairy world, following precise and sometimes bizarre instructions. If they follow it exactly, a loved one is returned. If not, they live on in the fairy world. No pressure. Fairy. Um, if you were fortunate, you would be returned without any intervention. But the snag is that time works differently in the fairy world. That's right. One night can equate to a year. Yes, time works differently. I need to remember that in the Feywild. So I need to figure out how I want that to translate into the book. Because I do have like I did think of that when I was doing the outline for it, but I think I've forgotten since then. So we haven't gotten to that part where it's going to become relevant yet. It's not going to be till the end when they're trying to get back home. Employ humans to work for them for either 1 or 7 years. If you spent 7 years with the fairy, you would return with a magical gift. Number 7. Say it's the perfect number. They would often return with a warning not to talk about their experience or not to point out or recognize the fairies. They could lose one's voice or memory if they did. In some ways, the story seems like an easy justification for why certain individuals disappeared at harvest time when their labor was needed the most and returned sometime later of tales they couldn't tell. Yeah, no, that was just them trying to not have to work, just being lazy. Imagine if you tried pulling that today, like, oh, where were you? You've been gone for 3 days. Oh yeah, I can't tell you. The fairies got me, but I can't tell you what I did, man. Payment from this work was a funny thing too. Often compensation from the fairies did not work in the human world. It would disappear. Off other times it worked as a sort of magic coin that would always reappear after spending, but held its own curses. I have an Irish blessing coin. I think this was from my sister's wedding. It's got the, I don't know if you can, looks like that. On the back it's got the Irish blessing, which is, may your troubles be less, your blessings be more, and nothing but happiness come through your door. It's a song, but I keep it on my desk. Let's see here. Parties, travel. You could travel to the world if they invited you, transport you to other parts of the earth. Yeah, time doesn't work the same, so that you could lose. If you rejected their invitation, you could be overrun by fairies and unable to get them out of your house and life. Oh, that's good. Um, it is said the only way to rescue someone from a fairy fort was to pull them out with the branch of a mountain ash tree. Interesting. Might write down that tidbit too. Might be important later for the book. Only way to rescue a fairy fort was to pull them out with a branch a mountain ash tree. Mountain ash tree. Boom. Fairies in Christianity. Hmm. Through, though today the number of people who claim to have seen or interacted with fairies has gone down significantly, they're passed down through generations. There's still a wary reverence for sites that are said to be fairy touch. So although fairies hold less place in their life, good luck to find. Curious about Irish folklore? Take a look at our series on Irish myth legends below to encounter giants, witches, selkies, and more. My own Irish adventure. I tell you guys I'm going to Scotland next May, in about a year, for my mom's birthday. I'm pretty freaking excited. Yeah, I'm gonna have a blast. I'm gonna have a freaking blast. Because my mom's going, I'm going. Um, one of my sisters is going with her husband, trying to persuade my other sister to go just herself. Um, she can leave the kids. I'm leaving the husband and the kids. One, we can't afford that, and two, my mom and my husband don't get along the greatest, and I really don't want to have a vacation filled with tension. So, like, let's just you guys just stay here, do your thing. So it's just gonna be me, which I'm pretty freaking excited about. I think because I might try to go to my mom's first, and then fly with her because I really don't want to navigate the airport by myself. I haven't navigated the airport by myself since my aunt died, which I don't know what year that would be. It was before our son was born, so it's been at least 15 years. So yeah, it's been a while. Um, let's go to more fork lore. Folklore could not be found. I hate it. I hate it when they're like, "Oh, we can't find that page." Okay, well, fine. I got what I needed from you, so pooh, go away. An introduction to Irish fairy folklore. Behind the scenes. Irish folklore book called The Leprechaun's Kingdom, The World of Banshees, Fairies, Giants, Monsters, Mermaids, Polkas, Vampires, Werewolves, Witches, and many others. Peter Haining. It might suggest children's stories. No, sir. No, sir. No children's stories. Oh, God. Throwing a fit. Cool. Why do kids have like high pitched voices? I don't know, man. It's too much. Too much for me lately. All the little kids screaming. Too much. Um, Fairy folklore is quite complex and nuanced. Wales, but it looks as though a few books discovered that Irish fairies have a well documented history and structure I found fascinating. Ancient legends, mystic charms, and superstitions of Ireland with sketches of the Irish past by Lady Wilde. Lady Wilde, that's a good writer name. An encyclopedia of fairies, hobgoblins, brownies, bogies, and other supernatural creatures by Catherine Briggs. Lore box and I'm gonna say that wrong, so I'm not gonna even try. For the first two groups of people to inhabit Ireland were the Furbolgs and the And the furbolgs arrived at Ireland first, and Lady Wilde speculates they were creatures of shepherds and agriculturalists. They're large, grotesque creatures, giant-like. Compares them to Titans of Greece. A bit rough around the edges. Strong, magical people. Tooth of the Danann drove out the furbolgs. They became the first fairy people of Ireland. They went into hiding. They took on a smaller statue, but had ability to shift their shape. They describe them as great necromancers, skilled in all magic, and excellent in all arts as builders, poets, and musicians. Very knowledgeable in herbs and their properties, and the horses that they raised. How do I want to use that for my no yet. So they were eventually conquered as well. Became fairy folk. Before we learn about the Danann, though, I want to briefly look at the Irish fairy structure. It seems to be a little different than the Scottish court, Seelie court, and Seelie court, which is popular. Fairies. Irish fairies are generally divided into two camps: the trooping fairies and the solitary fairies. This is stuff I don't know. I knew about this Seelie and Unseelie. So, trooping fairies. Great in groups, dress in green, can be of varying sizes, mostly friendly. Fond of faction fights. Including with the trooping fairies are the heroic fairies. Beautiful fairy knights and ladies. In Celtic tales, they were usually human size. The heroic fairies included the Annan Shay of Ireland and the Seelie court of Scotland. Okay. And then there were the solitary fairies. I'm guessing they like to stay by themselves. Did they just separate it into introverted and extroverted? They did share some similar characteristics with each other, though. They like to dress in red. The leprechauns. Okay. Joy to aristocratic pastimes. Angels, possibly. They often carried off beautiful mortal children and women. When a child was taken, they would leave a changeling in its place. Generally, the mortal child was raised with the fairies in one of the palaces and wedded to a fairy once they reached adulthood. Similarly, a mortal woman might be taken for marriage with a fairy. Children born from a fairy and a mortal. Children of such marriages have strange mystic nature and generally become famous in music and song. They are passionate, revengeful, and not easy to live with. Everyone knows them to be of the she by their beautiful eyes, their bold, reckless temperament. Oh. They might steal mortal women and children as payment tithe to the devil every 7 years. Well, myths are very interesting, I think. Sometimes they would sneak into the wine barrels so that they would move with people. That's clever. Leprechauns, shoemakers, enjoyed pranks, but also knew where hidden treasure was buried. Hmm, very interesting. Interesting stuff. I am going to write down. Okay. All right. I think that's all we've got for that. Actually, save this page because I'm going to come back and look at it later. Okay. And now we get into the other Archfey stuff. So let's. Is this the same website? Archfey of the Feywilds. The following list contains a variety of Archfey of the Feywilds, though is not exhaustive. Each Archfey provides the Archfey magic feature to their followers, such as when acting as a group patron, you gain this feature and can use it as described as long as that Fey remains your patron. Look how pretty it is. Look how pretty it is. Fun stuff. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Russell the Great Gardener, a Fey with a love of gardening, seen as a balance between civilization and wilds. However, in his quest to build the greatest garden, he would cause his downfall. Procuring plants and animals from across the plains, he accidentally brought lichens to the Feywild from Fennel in the Beastlands that led to the humans of Brokenstone's Vale curse. The Vale's humans and Fae fought in a terrible war, which eventually led back to his garden. He offered a lone Eldarin woman protection garden one day, who revealed herself to be the queen of air and darkness, destroying his garden. Now his garden lays in the Shadowfeld, and Australia kills any who enters it. Archfey magic, you can cast the Mold Earth cantrip. You can do find familiar, and wisdom is your spellcasting ability. Okay. I'm just gonna write down some of these names. I think I probably have a list somewhere. Then there's Baby Yaga, the witch mother. Baby Yaga is the lord of all hags and most powerful sorceress in any realm, often with long white hair, warts upon her face, a frame that changes from thin to plump on her whim. She's unpredictable as she looks. She will often devour her followers as much as she is willing to share secrets with them. Those that do make bargains with her will find that the promises she asks are much more dangerous than any other fae. She can be found in any realm, traveling through them in her magical mortar and pestle. You gain proficiency in alchemist tools. Additionally, learn one cantrip from the wizard spell list. Charisma is your spellcasting ability. Cernunnos, the lord of the wild hunt. Oberon. I have Oberon in my story. He's honored lord of the hunt, often hunting with Oberlins in the Beastlands. He's a wild fae, or is a wild elf with stag horns that shine in the light. He is Oberon's hunt master, leading the wild hunt, a group of hunters made of divine beings and other archfey, mostly notably the Beast Lords. The Beast Lords include the Cat King, the Sovereign Elk, the Monkey King, and the Lord of the Bats, who aid in the hunt and protect their people in the Feywilds. The Cat King rules over Tabaxi in the Feywild and house cats. The Sovereign Elk is a patron of the Wood Elves and allows them to use elk as mounts. The Monkey King is a trickster who often pulls pranks on the gods of the material plane, while the Lord of Bats is a patron to Dhampir seeking refuge in the Feywilds. Cernunnos counts himself among the Beast Lords, the sovereign of satyrs and centaurs, and many half-animal folk. You can use the Druidcraft cantrip, use Hunter's Mark, Wisdom. Okay. Ugh, my eyes. Couldn't sleep last night, so I was up watching stuff like 2 hours. Oh, it's been an hour. I told my son that it was going to be an hour, but I'm running a little behind because I want to read all this stuff. Well, I guess I can do a part 2 of this next time, can't I? But there's so many good things to read. I mean, I'm going to keep reading this, but I think for time we'll go ahead and stop it there. Try to come back to this next time. I'm going to save this page too because it's freaking awesome. And then next time we'll finish up a little bit more lore and then finish up chapter 3. So, yeah. I hope you guys had fun. I know I did because I love the lore and the fairies and yeah. Anywho's, enough of that. Yeah, so I hope you guys had a good time. I am pretty excited about how the book is going and feeling a lot more inspired to this week than I was last week. Last week I was a little uninspired and ended up playing Nice Day for Fishing, which kind of in a Nice Day for Fishing mood too. So maybe I'll try to add another stream during the week where I can play that, and you guys can play with me. But yeah. So I hope you guys have a good rest of your week or the beginning of your week it goes well and that you don't get a lot of stress and work goes smoothly and just cultivate that joy and have some fun. Let's go ahead and rate out here. Do 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 do. Beep 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 beep. Let's see, what is she doing? Ads. It will get there. It will get there eventually. I think. To her. What is she working on? Looks like she's Wilbirding. So we're gonna raid into GMO Brennan. I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but we're gonna raid into her because I've watched her stuff. And oh, it's GM of Revan. That's sorry, GM of Revan. We're gonna raid into her because she does some pretty cool stuff. So I hope you guys enjoy her. And oh, or not. Let's try this again. Try one more time. Okay, well, so let's find somebody else then. Okay, I don't think the raids are working. My page. I think it's freaking out on me, guys. It's freaking out on me. Freaking out on me. Freaking out on me. Let's try it again. Keep seeing error. Keep seeing error. So I'm gonna try one more, and if it doesn't work, then just gonna have to end it. Okay, looks like this one's gonna work. So we're gonna go to catchy cantrips because that one's gonna work. So yeah, you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you later. Bye.